When you think of yourself as a junior swimmer, 18 years old and under, before before you moved on, what are the things that you're most proud of? And they may not even be races or times. It may be something more kind of topical, like being a part of something or something. But what are you most proud of when you think about your time as an 18 and under?
Yeah, that's definitely a tough question because of the way that I was taught to think about swimming, it being like my time as an 18 and under like wasn't ever the focus for me. It was always like, well, what are we doing next? What's next kind of thing. And I think that kind of like affects me negatively now. It was probably great for the mindset back then, but like it was tough to celebrate things. And even now in my working career, like it's tough to celebrate the wins and not just like immediately just be like, oh man, what's next? Like I used to deal with this I mean, depression's a really strong word, but I used to deal with this struggle of like after a big meet and like everybody was celebrating, I was just kind of like all the competing is over, just kind of I guess bummed out would be the best way to put it. I mean, I remember like of course after you do something great at high school, they like to bring you before like the school board and city council, and I remember just being like, that's dumb. Like I got to get back to training, like this is time that I could be doing this. The meeting was at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But yeah, I'd say, I mean, I was definitely proud of just like every 400 IM I swum was lights out. But there, I mean, there's one moment, speaking of high school swimming in particular, when I broke the state record in the 200 IM, and I remember like going, because like I mean that's what Shu wanted, definitely, and that's what I wanted too. But we were training for it, and of course, just terrible butterfly. If you ever look at any of my splits, I mean, fastest last 300 in the game in the 400 IM, but terrible butterfly. My gosh, that has been a struggle my whole career, but I just could never get it. I remember Shu being like, if you go out over 25, like you're not going to get it. You need to go out faster than a 25, like first 50 of the 200 IM. And of course, like I hit the wall on my split, like just totally relaxed, like long stroke at like a 25.3. And there's a picture of him that was in the paper from the moment I hit the wall, and he's just like levitating off the ground, both hands in the air. And like to make other people that happy with my swimming felt really good, because I feel like to a certain extent, like maybe I didn't make myself that amount of happy. Like I hit the wall, look at it and go, good, that's what I planned to do. That's what I trained to do. The only shock would be in my mind if I didn't get it, then there's something wrong. Brad always had this expression where he's like, good or bad, I'm never surprised how any of you swim because I see you train, So like, that's a mentality that like, and an approach that I always carried was like, I was never surprised or shocked or anything like that. I mean, like, I want to be humble, but like close races and out touches weren't like a part of my daily experience with swimming. And I'm sure that's the same for a lot of people on this list. So like, that's really the most exciting part, is like the close race out touching someone. But like swimming a lights out 400 IM and winning by a lot was just like, you look at the clock, you go, okay, like what turns did I mess up? This turn could have been cleaner. Like I shouldn't have taken a breath before the last wall. Like just things like that are just like what permeates your mind.